Why don't men ask follow-up questions? Some stuff just isn't important for me to know. Like, for example, my roommate went home for 4 days last week. My mom asked me what he was up to at home. I told her I had no idea. He just said he was going to his parents and would be back after the weekend. That was enough information for me. I wasn't really interested in why he was going home. I don't actually care about the details, and I find asking when I don't care about the answer to be disingenuous. Someone will be like, "I'm getting a new car," and it'll just be like, "That rocks." But I don't ask what kind, or what they used to have, or how expensive it is, because I don't care. I'm just happy they are happy. Men's minds. Cool story, bro. End of conversation. It probably was not the focus of the conversation. Didn't come up. We don't ask questions if we don't care about the answer. My most recent ex said multiple times that I didn't care about her because I didn't ask questions she expected me to ask. It wasn't that I didn't care for her, but most of the time I thought she was telling me everything there is to tell. B, I could infer everything important from what she was telling. C, she was telling me about something I genuinely didn't care about. It's really hard to answer this question without sounding sexist, but I'm going to try anyway. Just know that I don't think men are better than women or vice versa. For whatever reason that I'm not even going to try and guess at. Male relationships seem to revolve more around doing things together, while female relationships seem to revolve more around talking to each other. You can even see this on the elementary school playgrounds. The girls are more likely to be in a group talking to each other, while the boys are more likely to be doing stuff, sports, play fighting, climbing on stuff, etc. This is also probably the reason why conflict between boys is often more violent, while conflict between girls is more psychological. This difference could just be from societal norms pushing girls down certain pathways, or it could be something biological. Either way, guys don't ask a lot of details because we, in general, don't talk to each other that much. What you're looking for is someone that's extra curious and is genuinely interested in people. Another way of putting that is they're nosy. I had no interest in knowing, and if they wanted me to know, they would've told me. Ref Jeffersmadates. Very well put actually. Honestly, they are probably not really interested in what you have to say. Hey, that's okay, and here's why: we're not all the interesting as humans. I think the question is loaded. Some men ask follow-up questions and some women don't. This can also be different based on context. One person may ask questions in one situation and no questions in another. I think it all comes down to a combination of how interested the person is in what's being discussed and/or what they are going to do with that information. If they want or need more information, they ask. If they are satisfied with the amount of information already provided, they don't ask. I 25M have found the opposite tbh. For example, if I ask a male friend what they had for dinner, they will tell me and then immediately ask me the same question. Whereas if I ask one of my girlfriends, they'll just tell me what they had and that's the end of it. If it was important or not private, they would give the details themselves. Counterpoint: asking too many follow-up questions makes us feel interrogated. If he needs to know, why don't you just tell him? Here's an example for you. My younger brother is getting married in a few months, but I've been talking to him a lot more about technical details of reloading bullets. We both like reloading and shooting, so we have a good time talking about it. I didn't ask him many details about the wedding aside from when it was and to tell him congrats, because that's all that mattered to me. If I had started asking questions about the wedding, it would have been a weird, awkward conversation, because neither one of us cares that much about weddings in general. He's getting married to a nice girl, I know the date, so I can show up, and that's all I care about. But there are a lot of details about bullet reloading that I do care about, and talking about a common interest is a lot more interesting to us both. We'd rather do something together than talk. This is interesting. As a girl, I also don't really care about all those details, but it's just natural to keep the conversation going. Also, people love talking about themselves, so I'll put up with asking and listening to all the little stuff if it makes them feel like I care. I'm always shocked by these questions about men from women's perspectives, because no man I know, myself included, behaves like that. I'm convinced these are a subset of men who get a lot of attention from women, because the average man can't afford to behave like that. In fact, one of my main complaints when dating is having to carry conversations. It's kind of a default setting men get born with. Maybe he is just introverted and you are not. Introverts don't really do small talk because it's just not interesting enough. It doesn't necessarily have to be linked to being male or female. Top comment sums it up best: if you wanted us to know, you'd told us. We don't need to know every little detail about everything to be content with our communication. Speaking for myself personally, but small talk is useless and means nothing to me. so I won't go out of my way to create it. He'll go along with it if the other person initiates it, but 4 of my friends and I regularly sit around a campfire in silence for 20 minutes. We aren't nosy, we don't need to know the tiny little bits of info and the ins and outs of things. We just care for the basic facts.